Like,
Hi.
hey everyone, it's Wednesday, Women That Shred, and look, I have someone like right next to me.
Came down just for this.
Yes, so I just had my colleague, friend, Arlena Conner, who's up in Orange County, just an hour away. So we decided it would be really fun to have her sit next to me. I've had one other guest sit next to me, and she works in this office, so it was easy. But yeah, I have Arlena today, and this one's really cool because the reason why Women That Shred started was, obviously to showcase women in the mortgage industry, but to showcase all their many talents.
Yeah, we have more than just one talent, right?
And our role does not define us. Our job does not define us. So you're a perfect example of someone who is not only new to the industry, but you came from like a totally different industry.
Yeah, I mean, I was in recruiting a long time ago, and I didn't have a boss for a really long time. I was my own boss. So I worked as a woman-to-woman specific trainer privately for 7 years.
Oh, I didn't know that you were a one-on-one trainer.
Yeah, I was a one-on-one trainer, always a one-on-one trainer. I think that's effective, especially for women, because I think women are looking for a certain type of training, and they are looking for, a certain look, and they all want to be on the leaner side. They don't want to be bulky, which I did that. I had 40 pounds of muscle on me at one point.
Oh my gosh.
If you can imagine that.
I can't imagine.
I was a buff lady. And I did bikini fitness, competitions couple years in a row. This is 14, 15. This is a while ago now. But I did that, and throughout that whole experience, I learned a lot about fitness, lifestyle, how to balance it, how to make it a part of your life without it being stressful. And then it just becomes part of your routine.
Right.
Because then if you don't do it, you're actually more stressed out than you would be if you
That is true.
Because you're like, dang, I didn't do that today, and you get like down on yourself. So instead of that, it's just more of a balance.
Okay.
And so that's kind of where I think I went with it, was, okay, how do I balance it instead of being overly, training 6 days a week to where my body broke down and I had issues with all kinds of things.
Yeah.
Instead of just making it like, okay, commit to every other day of working out and doing something physical, whether it's 15 minutes or an hour or 2 hours or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and it relates because, I'm, talking about with social media and marketing and, getting on social media. It's the same thing of like, there's no reason to like be overwhelmed by it. If you can do it, just, 15 minutes a day, just something. So I love that it's the same thing when it comes to, your exercise routine. So then you mentioned balance, because I think that is something that I think all of us struggle with. I know I do. I'm sure there's plenty of other people do, of balancing it with your job, your career, sometimes kids, your spouse.
Yeah, kids is hard.
Yeah. So so give me some suggestions on to how to be able to balance essentially.
Yeah, I mean, I think like for the mom, and I can say this because myself, I don't have kids. I have a dog child.
I was going to say it's like having a kid.
Which keeps you active, so that's different. Because with kids, I feel like you have to way more balance that out, and you kind of want to get away from them.
She's honest.
Women are going to agree with me on this. They're like, no, I just want my 1 hour where I do my own thing. Yeah. And that's a healthy balance to have, is to kind of, leave it at home, just like you would leave, anything else at the door when you want to go check yourself into something else. So I think, having a routine and kind of trying to stick by that routine, harder when you have kids, right? Like for me, it's easy. I can say, okay, I'm going to wake up at this time. I'm going to walk my dog for this much time. I'm going to go to the gym, and then I'm going to get ready and I got to start work.
Yeah.
And whatever time that ends up being, but you have to time block those few hours, whether it's in the morning or whether it's at night. And I switch those off. So sometimes I'll do a workout class and I'll do it in the evening, so I have my morning free. but I know I scheduled that already. So I book myself and I say, okay, this is my time that I'm going to work out that day. So this is the time I have to do everything else. And I think writing that down helps, or putting it in your calendar, like this is my workout time. So that when it hits 15 minutes before you get your reminder or whatever you put your reminder for, you're like, okay, I have 15 minutes. I got to go. I got to get off the phone, or I got to do whatever I'm doing, or I got to get the kids ready and switch them off to dad or, grandma, whatever that looks like. And then go do your thing for an hour and you come back.
Yeah.
And committing to that 1 hour of this is my time, my space to do what I want to do.
Yeah. And which I think you come out better.
Yourself.
Yeah, you come out better.
How many hormones are you, including in that? You have your dopamine and all of those things that you're getting going during that time, and then you're done, your endorphins. And then food is also obviously a big
part. This woman over here, I will have to say, she's extreme though, because she's a vegan. I mean that's
80-20.
Oh, okay.
80-20. If my brother-in-law makes like a mean smoked meat in the smoker at home, I will eat that. Yeah.
So so I'm just curious about that, because I stopped eating meat, I want to say almost 4 years ago, and I stopped eating it just because I wanted to try the whole plant-based, and then I got used to it. Now, even though I've always loved meat and it doesn't gross me out, it was never like a gross factor.
Yeah.
I'll look at people eat it, and sometimes I'm like, I crave it, but then I'm scared because I've already not had it for 4 years, so that I'm scared of eating it because I'm wondering if is it going to kill me?
No, no. And I think everybody's
wondering
different, right? So when I was vegan, I never preached, of course it's helping the environment and you're helping save animals and you're doing all those things. And I respect all those things. And I think less consumption is better, right? For the people who do eat meat, because as Americans in general, we are over consumers. We overconsume way too much. We think we need more food than we actually do. And I think that becomes a hard thing for people to swallow, because they're like, no, I need this. And you go to restaurants and the plates are this big,
the portions are so large, and then you don't want to waste food. And there's some people that are averse to leftovers, like my kids.
Me.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not.
I'm that person that's like, I can't leave food on the table, so I'll take it home and eat it, or I'll just eat it right there and just walk out of the restaurant.
I give it to my niece.
Stuff.
My niece lives with me and she's younger, so if I have a leftover, she's my garbage disposal. Okay. I don't have a guy for that, so I'm like, here you go.
Whatever works.
but with food, I think that's also the kind of the 80-20 part of it is like, what are you consuming every day? Even for me this week, I said I'm not drinking alcohol this week because I've had so many business outings and so many friends outings where I'm like, I can't drink alcohol anymore. And I committed to that 1 week. I mean, what's that? Nothing. Probably not gonna, I'll last the 1 week, but after that, don't nobody invite me anywhere. And so just that balance too of being in tune with your body and understanding what your body needs and what it doesn't need. And when you're over consuming and when you eat too much, do you not feel good?
Yeah.
Really being in tune with your body is really important. And I think the more and more you do it, and the older we get too, we kind of get more sensitive, right?
I can't drink milk anymore. I can't eat as much cheese.
Dairy is a sensitivity for me too. So I try to avoid it at all costs. I mean, if someone's coming with a dessert at a restaurant and we're sharing it, I'm going to have a bite.
Yeah.
Or 2, or maybe 3. I don't know. It depends on how good it is. But I think food is very important. That's definitely a big percentage of what you're doing every single day. And then being sensitive to how it makes you feel. If you eat dairy and it doesn't feel good, why are you still doing it? Why? Because there's so many alternatives out there right now. There's oat milk, almond milk, coconut milk. I mean, so many different things that you can add in your coffee if that's what you enjoy, or desserts. I had a vegan dessert company, and I think part of the passion behind that was people can still enjoy desserts without it being horribly unhealthy.
Yeah.
And having a ton of sugar in it. We used maple syrup as an alternative, or honey, where it has antioxidants and it carries all these health properties that sugar doesn't have.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there is alternatives out there that people can get to. Yes, they might be more expensive, but what's the investment that you're putting in yourself for what you're doing? How long are you going to be here? Do you have kids? How much do you value being around when those kids are older too? Yeah. Because that's going to really dictate how long you will be here.
Yeah, well, you're right. It's an investment. And I think a lot of us don't even look at that way, right?
Like
we talk about how expensive food has become and the grocery store, and at one point everything was organic and you had to buy everything organic. I mean, I do believe that there are a few things that you should buy organic, and then other things that like there's no reason to spend the extra money on.
There's definitely we could put together a list of do's and don'ts on
that. I think a lot of it is like the trends, right? And what's kind of like the hype and everything. And
what's in season too. Like,
that's true.
Keeping track of what's in season when it comes to produce, and when it comes to like what's actually good right now and what's not, and kind of investing in that, because your body will like you more for that. And your body will like you more for feeding it what it needs versus just what you want. Like if you crave sugar every night, find a different alternative. Put honey in your tea and have sweet tea instead of there's a lot of other alternatives that you can do that aren't raiding the refrigerator every night. I do it sometimes. I'm looking at it like I'm still hungry, and then I'm looking for something in my fridge, and then I purposely don't buy too many sweets and junk food.
See, that's the thing. I think that's the key is not buying it. Like I refuse to buy, like I'll go to the grocery store and obviously there's things that like I look at, I'm like, oh my gosh, that looks so good. But I know myself and I'm like, don't buy it, because not only will you eat it, but you'll eat it in one sitting. Like,
like
no willpower over here.
Ice cream and the pint is gone.
Yeah,
I didn't mean to do that.
So it's it is like you said, kind of being in tune.
With and maybe not buying those things when they're screaming at you at the grocery store, because you're going to eat it if you don't have self-control. And then once you get that discipline, then you can kind of really
it makes it easier once you get used to I've gotten used to it. I used to have the biggest sweet tooth and I had to have dessert after everything, and I cut back a lot on sweets and sugar. Then now I don't even really crave it. And now when I do have, like, let's say there's a delicious cake that I see, one bite or two usually like satisfies me. It like does it. And when before I would eat the entire cake.
And I not feel good.
Oh gosh, disgusting. And so I found that like it's also your body starts kind of weaning off certain things as well.
And you start to not crave it. And part of it, what I learned when I did a lot of fitness stuff, which not everybody's going to experience, but it's the discipline part of it. It's this, I can say no now. And I think part of that is having, self-control and understanding boundaries for yourself and respecting your body.
I was going to say respecting. We don't respect ourselves enough.
We don't put ourselves first. We're too busy catering to everybody else, especially if you're a mom. I know so many of them, and they're some of my best friends, my sister, my closest friends. I've been there during baby births. I've been there during the hard parts of like kids breaking down. Mom wants to, go in the other room and run away.
Just go to the bathroom, and she can't because she's trying to go to the bathroom. She literally has a child like a bully. I have experience.
That's hard. I've got 2 kids. That is hard. So I have a lot of respect for moms who are able to maintain like some sort of healthy lifestyle outside of being a mom and being a wife and being maybe a sister and being a daughter and all those responsibilities that you have. I respect that. And I think but respecting yourself
and not feeling like important. Super guilty about it too, because that's another thing too, is like I feel like we carry so much guilt with everything, and we shouldn't feel guilty for taking an hour out of our day to do something for ourselves. I know that like my daughter, she's 18 years old, and I had her last week because she had mono, and I picked her from school, brought her back to my mom's, and I was like nurse and mom again. And I felt guilty. Like I was doing yoga every single day up until I picked her up. And I felt guilty leaving her, like coming to work and going home and having her like, and she was in bed, sleeping because she had mono, and I didn't go to yoga. Finally, one day I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to yoga 1 hour, like, please. Like, but I was feeling guilty, and here, like, it wasn't a big deal, but it's like that mom guilt like suddenly set in again. And I thought, and I realized that, and I was like, what is going on here that I feel guilty about taking 1 hour of my day to do something that's going to make me essentially feel better the rest of the day.
Right. And I think that's where we have to be like the in tune part comes in, and we have to say, okay, we have to actually sit for a minute or two and be like, okay, why do I feel guilty, and work through that a little bit in
and
our head.
I was working through that.
And that awareness that you have of, okay, let me work through this real quick. And is it that bad? Is she gonna, you know, is something bad gonna happen in an hour?
She was with my mom, and my mom was literally like catering to her, and she's 18 asleep. So, but still, it was like, I reverted back to just like kind of old thought processes and everything like that. And I feel like even with food, it's the same thing, right? Like you have that comfort food. Like Sean, he writes, he avoids fast food and only have it as a special treat. Like, and that's the thing too, is that if you're having a really crappy day, crappy week, and for whatever reason, you know, those French fries from McDonald's are going to do it for you in that moment. Then just do it. I feel like,
just do it, and don't feel bad about it, because there's a lot of speakers out there that would talk about, you know, probably more on the spiritual side, right? But they speak about food, and it's all about how you feel about it, because there's people out there that eat, drink, smoke, and eat hamburgers all day, and they live till they're 90 something years old, right? And probably because they don't actually feel bad about it when they're doing it, and they don't feel bad about it after. They just thoroughly enjoy the thing, and then they just, okay, that's it. That's what I did today. And acceptance of, hey, that's what I did. I had some McDonald's fries. You won't see me doing that.
You'll see me doing it. Sorry, every now and then, once in a blue moon, I'll do it.
I can't remember the last time I had fast food, actually.
Really?
Like, it's just a no for me.
I tried, you're gonna die. I was with a friend, and it was like late night, and we went through McDonald's drive-thru, and it was like the first time in years I'd done that. And being that I'm a pescatarian, I ended up with a fish fillet.
All right.
And you know what? I enjoyed it in that moment. And the next day I went back to, like, you know, eating better. But I was just like, you know what? It's the experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Nothing wrong with that. Like, you know, I think we're all here to enjoy life and not be so hard on ourselves, and not be so judgmental of ourselves all the time, and make ourselves feel guilty, because guilt is such a negative feeling. You know, so there's no point in keeping the momentum going of a negative feeling, of just being like, okay, I did that. Oh, well.
I know. I think
I had fun doing it.
I think the only thing that is really like makes it even harder though is social media, because what's happening is you are seeing all the women, like, and let's be honest, gorgeous, like perfect body, like you work, you know, you do, like, I mean, you work at it, right? Like this is, you know, you work at it. But someone like myself, who doesn't know you and is seeing you on social media, could sit here and be like, oh my gosh, I want to look just like her. That means I got to, you know, be a vegan, and I got to go to the gym every day and all this stuff. And then like suddenly it's like all this pressure. But, and unfortunately, there's a lot of people like that out there that see that, and then they feel that pressure, right?
Do it too. I see girls and I'm like, dang, I want to look like that.
You know? I know this girl's like at the gym with the selfie, and she's got her 6-pack, and I was like, wah, wah, wah.
I mean, that's years in, right? Like, so for me, when people are like, well, what do you do? And I'm like, honestly, it's years. I think this year was my 12th year of officially being consistent with diet, exercise, you know, healthier mind, right? Because healthier mind, like people, you'll see people with 6-packs who look healthy, and maybe they get cancer.
Mind, body, spirit, like it's
and I think the mind part is so much more, it's kind of left out sometimes. People are like, go, go, go. And I do it too. Go, 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 go. And then we forget, like, oh wait, did I take a second to even breathe today? Did I breathe? Like, I worked out and I was breathing during that, but like, did I breathe? Did I take a conscious breath of, like, did I do that? You know? And I think that's part of it too, is people don't remember that we got to slow down for a second. And like, even if you're in the car, and, you know, even on the way here, I took a phone call. I was like, I got to get there on time, you know, and I didn't want to be late, and I wanted time to like sit with you for 2 minutes before we got here. And then, you know, I'm back on the road after like that, and go back up and take care of my dog and do this and do that and get back on my work calls. And I'm like, but today is my day off that I planned for that, right? Like today is my off day of gym. So I planned the off day. I try to plan every week for what I'm going to do.
I started doing that, and it's actually helped me now that I do yoga consistently. And
especially when you book a class.
Well, and I was going to say, like, even some of these like gyms and yoga studios are getting smart, because what happens is you get on an app and you want to book a class, right?
Yeah.
But when you book it, you can't. It's $10. They charge you $10 if you get out of it, and so it's like a really good way to hold you accountable. But I've been doing the same thing where I'm like looking at my schedule. Like I know that I'm going back to Tucson on Friday for my daughter this weekend for a sorority weekend. And knowing that, I already looked at my schedule this week and I was like, all right, I got to make sure that I can be able to at least get as much of my yoga in before I go out there, being in the car for so long and being there for the weekend. So that's really helped me. I never was like that before.
Yeah.
Like there are certain things that I'm finding that I'm doing as I get older that I'm getting better at. And it's nice because I mean, you're much younger than me. You're in your 30s. Yes, 36. I'll be 48. So there's a difference there. Thank you. So but there's a big difference. There's a decade of a difference, right? Yeah. And so it's like, it's the same thing looking and talking to you. I have to realize that I'm in a different place in my life. I'm older. I've kind of done certain things and, I have to honor like where yourself. I'm at. And for me, it's yoga. Like I can't go to a gym and like work out and do what I used to do. I can't do that anymore. Like for me, I need to go. Yoga for me is something that I actually enjoy. It helps me kind of like be present. It does a lot for me that I just really enjoy. And so that's my thing.
Yeah, that's your thing. And that's the thing is everybody has to find their thing. Yeah. Like maybe not everybody wants to go to the gym and lift weights or, go to a workout class. I actually said for a long time I was not a workout class person because I was a trainer for so long. And I'm like, I don't want to go have someone yell at me. And
I was the person that yelled. I was the instructor.
Do not yell at me and do not talk to me like that. But now, so, I went to my class last night and the music's pumping and I really like the trainer that's there too. And I'm like, yeah, let's go. And like, it's at 5:30. So I'm like just wrapping up work and like rushing over to the workout, but I'm so happy to be there. And in that hour, it goes by so fast. I'm like, oh my God, I'm done.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's go home and eat.
I know there's something about that. Because for instance, yesterday, the particular yoga class that I was in, the guy had it hotter than usual and it was like really humid. Yeah. And I know it, like my body knew. My body's like, okay, this is hotter than what I'm used to. And I was like, oh my gosh, dying in a good way.
Yeah.
And then after the class, I was just like, felt so good. Even though in the moment I was struggling a little bit. Yeah. And I know some people have their philosophy about that, but like, I never do anything to like overly. I mean, there was a woman in that class that literally left the room for like half of the class. And I was like, good for her. You know what I mean? Like nobody judged her. If anything, I think at the end of the class, we were all like super proud of her. Kind of like, you know what? That's so great that you honored like what you could. Because I think that's another thing too, is like we automatically are like, oh, what does everyone think? And our ego gets in the way. And it is hard. Yeah. There's like so many different like elements to it. And it's definitely not easy, but like, just like you said, that it took you 12 years to get where you're at.
Yeah.
Same thing. Once again, it's very parallel with like social media and doing that, because we talk about it all the time, is same thing. Like with me, I've been on LinkedIn for almost 9 years.
Wow.
Like I've put in the time and energy and the work and all of it. So for when people are like, oh my gosh, you're everywhere and you do this and that, to these people and all this, I'm like, yeah, but you don't see all the stuff that I put into it. Yeah. So it's the same thing for you. Someone can look at you and be like, oh, you were just born like that. And maybe, obviously, genetics.
Part of it is yeah. I mean, genetics always plays a part in everybody's journey.
Yeah.
In that, in the physical part, right?
Yeah.
But the mental part is a behavioral thing that you learn and you coax yourself into like doing whatever works for you.
Yeah.
So I think that's a great point that, hey, you know what? I don't want to go to the gym, but I like to do yoga.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
I think that's a great balance to have. And I think people forget that they need the balance. Like for me, my balance is like classes, gym, and hike, like something outdoors once a week. So the once a week commitment is like, okay, I'm taking my dog. We're going on a hike. We're going to do it maybe with somebody, maybe not. I actually like my solo hikes. Yeah. But, even if it takes you to be in a social environment to enjoy, that and say, call a friend or have a group of girlfriends that commits to it every week, or you guys take your kids to, or something, like make that commitment and make your circle. And going back to that, like, who is your circle and what do they do with their extra time? Because if you're surrounding yourself with people who don't enjoy those things, you're going to find it harder to commit to that, because they're going to want to go have brunch and have mimosas.
And there's plenty of people that will sabotage, because I've had that where I had friends who were like, don't go to the gym, come to the bar with me instead. Like, let's do happy hour. And do you know how many times like I get guilted into doing that? And then later I'm like, what am I doing? And it's, it's incredible how once again, like we do things for others, and then, this guilt and everything. And it's like, we got to stop doing that. But I think a lot of it has to do with just us, like, not judging anybody else either.
And what they want to do.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you need a community of people, or that one friend that, you can call to go on hikes. Like, I have those friends, like my girlfriends that have dogs. I'm like, hey, you want to go on a hike?
That's good.
And they're like, yes, or no, I can't go. And I'm like, cool, I'm going to go by myself, and I don't mind that either, but that's the commitment I make every week. So every week I know that's what I'm going to go do. And this is how I'm going to schedule my week. And this is how many days a week I'm going to work out.
Yeah.
And this is how many days a week I'm going to eat out too.
Yeah.
I have a rule about eating out.
Oh, you do?
how many, days a week I spend eating out, because I feel like when I eat out a lot, that I don't get my prime self.
Yeah.
I get bogged down. To be honest, my digestion goes bad. And this is like a subject that maybe not everybody wants to talk about, but it's the truth.
Well, okay? I mean,
digestion is a big part of like losing weight. It's a big part of, just being in tune with your body. And if your digestion's off and your gut health is off, then that also affects a lot of other things, brain fog and energy levels. And then all the other stuff goes out the window.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I don't have good energy today, I'm not going to go to the gym.
Yeah.
Well, how many days in a row are you going to do that? Because you ate out, or you ate fast food, or you drank too much.
Yeah.
Like, where's your limit?
Yeah. No, it does all affect it. And for me, I found that moving from Virginia to San Diego, like my lifestyle has changed so much. All just because
California people are
the vibe and the weather, first of all, like people want to be outdoors more and just be more active. And then just the people, and then the options for food and just like the produce. And then if you do go out to a restaurant, like there are plenty that like are also very, very healthy.
Yeah.
So just like the options. And then I just naturally am getting up earlier in the morning. I'm drinking less. I'm working out. So there's something to be said about like the environment that you're in. And how it motivates you. And it's motivated me in this way that like,
not telling everybody to move to California.
I know everybody's like, we can't go to California, but sometimes it's like change. I think my point is sometimes it's changing your environment.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be as drastic as me as moving from the East Coast to the West Coast.
No.
But after 27 years or 23 years of being in Virginia, like I felt like I was maybe in a rut, and then coming here, something just shifted.
Changed, yeah.
And I think sometimes that's like really kind of what is needed sometimes for people. It's just have some kind of shift in their environment.
And for the ones that can't, changing just whatever your daily routine is, like inside of what you do every day, like look at, like, write it down.
Yeah.
Write down, okay, journal. I think journaling is important, right? For planning, for writing down, you don't have to be like, oh yeah, I had a bad day today. Like, I don't really think that's the way it should go.
My day sucked. Period.
That's just a personal thing. Some people like to journal and say everything.
Right.
And some people like to journal and just kind of write down what they want, or what they want to do, or what they have to do that day, or the night before. You do it the night before. A lot of people say that's effective too. Like, write down, okay, this is everything I have to do tomorrow. And then where is food and exercise coming in? Where is my meals coming from?
Right.
Like, I'm not planning last minute to go get a donut before I go to work.
Yeah. And there's a lot of people that I find, and I think this is kind of neat too, is that people who like meal plan, and you realize that you really don't have to change, like you don't have to have this like very like elusive diet where everything's different every day. Like there's people that literally will eat chicken, rice, and like veggies like every single day. And it works, right? Like even with dress code, like you know how we joke around about like Steve Jobs and like all these people that would wear the same thing every day because it was a way for them not to waste their time and energy on something like that, like clothing. So I feel like
they're gonna wear.
Food can be the same thing, right? Like if you don't waste your time and energy on like what am I going to eat today, but literally just eat the same thing every day. If it works for you,
but
then
planning
why not, right?
too, like when you go to the grocery store, have a list.
Yeah.
Make some sort of
Don't go to the grocery store hungry. That's the worst.
Most people kind of know that. They're like, oh yeah.
I wish we all could be California girls. Yes.
Yeah. California is a cool place. But I mean, there's East Coast places like New York.
Yeah.
And, it's such a thing to be healthy, and there's so many options, and there is a lot of opportunities for people to utilize outdoors. I think we learned that in COVID.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't have a gym. What am I going to do now? I'm going to walking lunges down the street with my dog while I walk him for 50 reps or something, or 60 just to make it even.
Oh my gosh, we're already at 30 minutes, but go ahead.
So anyways, I mean, I think so. I'll kind of summarize. Planning, prioritizing your health is important, because also that comes into work too.
Yes, absolutely.
It comes into work. So when I come to work every day, or I'm working every day and I'm on the computer all the time, most people are working remote. We're tired after we're looking at the screen all day. So do things to protect yourself from that. Eat healthy food, eat things that give you energy. Don't drain yourself, and time block the things that you need to do. And then also make sure that food is a huge part of that, because that's what's going inside your body. What you output every day is completely different, but what's going in? What's going in your head? What are the thoughts you're thinking? That's health there. Is like, what is actually going on in my mind? How am I interpreting my food and my exercise, and how does that relate into what I'm doing every day, so that I can make sure I show up as my best self most of the time. You're not going to be your best self all the time. It just doesn't work like that. I wish, but you're not. So just be your best self and put that into yourself, because that's the best investment that you can give. Like when people say health is wealth, I think that's so true. It's so true. Because if you don't have that, you have nothing. You have absolutely nothing.
And I think all of it, and it's key to know that it's not going to happen overnight. Just with anything, there's no secret sauce to it. There's no magic pill. There's none of that.
Give yourself time.
Give yourself time, grace, all of those things. But I think it was really important. And I thank you for coming down, driving down here to share all this wealth of knowledge when it comes to health. So hopefully I know that you inspired me. And I'm hoping that you inspired everybody else who's watching. And then Sean, I love this, ladies. And as a single dad who has a 22-year-old daughter, I will make sure to share this with her. Oh, good. Yay.
I love that.
Awesome.
I think that's an important age.
Yes. Thank you, Sean. And thank you for everybody else that's hopping on, like replay and everything. Arlena, it's always lovely to see you.
That was so fun.
Thanks, everyone.
I could talk about it forever.
I know, I could too. I could just talk forever. All right, we'll see all of you next week on Women That Shred.